Thank you so much. Now, let's delve into our topic today, the financial differences that cause differences in financial behavior. So I divided it into two, and the first part I just want us to look at 10 generational differences, and then the second part will be the generational differences in financial behavior, because again, the behaviors are also different. Of course, one of the things that defines culture and generations is how we dress. So just look at the way people used to dress. The baby boomers, when they used to go to work, Gen X, most of us would have a navy blue suit. Then the Gen Y went for what they call business casual or smart casual. And then the Gen Z would go to work even in sweaters. But the ladies, of course, are more interesting than the men. The baby boomers, the ladies were conservative. Then Gen X, that's my generation, trouser suits. They became the in thing. It was something to do with this whole protesting against the male dominance. Gen Y went back to where the baby boomers were, but they wanted to show off their thighs. Then finally, Gen Z went back to trousers, but revealing the body, very tight things. When it comes to swimming, let me give you my observations about men. The baby boomers would go to the beach, and the guy would have his t-shirt or vest, usually t-shirt. The Gen X did like baby boomers, except they didn't have a top. The Y made it very tight. The Z, you can't tell the difference between a man and a woman's swimming costume. For ladies, the baby boomers, a woman would go fully dressed in the beach. The Gen X, the Y, the Z, I won't comment. When it comes to the gym, the baby boomer mom, that's the way they would dress. The Gen X, the Gen Y, and the Gen Z. And by the way, these Gen Zs, they are very comfortable being in the gym like that. Now, this is a tricky one, but I'll give you data. Of course, this data is not from Africa. What is on your screen is from the search engine Journal 2023. But what I found is that Facebook is leading, followed by YouTube, and then Instagram. Literally, most of people my age are in the first three, and LinkedIn. So most baby boomers, 92% are literally on Facebook. Gen X, 87.8% are again on FB, and almost half, 47.7%, they are on Instagram. Also, the majority of the millennials are in Facebook, 86.1%, followed by Instagram, 75.3%. But when it comes to Gen Z, the story changes. 83.8% Snapchat, followed by TikTok, 82.2%. But I must remind you, this is data from the US. When I was looking at the trends, literally Facebook is still the leading, but basically the older generations, X and baby boomers, are the ones who are literally on Facebook. But the Gen Z is the one that is across all social media. How do we receive news? For the baby boomers, newspapers. The X, they like watching news. A little bit of Facebook, a little bit of WhatsApp, but the TV is compulsory. When it comes to the millennials, most of them have zero need for TV. They work as they browse social media. When it comes to Gen Z, they are addicted to the phone. So the Gen Y, the phone is there to give them updates. But the Gen Z, that's where their life is. Now, when it comes to entertainment, so the baby boomers would meet physically. They would host people a lot in their houses for dinner. The Gen X, the guys would meet in the pub. The Gen Y, as usual, the TV can be on, but she has to be on phone, no matter what. The Gen Z, they're into gaming. In terms of communication, the baby boomers wanted you to write a letter to them. The Gen X, that's when the telephone lines were put up. I'm not talking of the mobile lines. If there is any serious discussion, the Gen X believes in making phone calls. The Gen Y email me. The Gen Z has no time for that. Even for official things, just text. Send a text. What they buy now, you give a baby boomer money right now, and they will straight away buy land, stocks in the stock market, and livestock. Now remember this: life is a Gantt chart. So there are some behaviors you see the baby boomers that you'll find with a few people in Gen X, and there are some things you find with Gen X you're going to find with Gen Y. For example, land. We still have people who are Gen X who are obsessed with land, but they are not as obsessed as the baby boomers. Gen X, TV, car, house, flat TV, a must. because most of these people, Gen X, when they were growing up, they didn't have TVs at home. They didn't grow up with a car at home because the baby boomers did not prioritize the car. They prioritized land. The Gen Y, give them money right now and there will be a laptop, a tablet, and a car. Let's go to Z. Smartphones, then fashion. It has to have a brand name, and then video games. Video games matter a lot to Gen Z. Now, how they learn? How do we learn? The baby boomers, books. Now, the Gen X loves seminars. Trust me, even right now, the people who are very excited with what we are doing is Gen X, if this was a physical meeting. They don't mind the Zoom, but Gen X likes physical meetings. Gen Y, Google. All their problems are addressed by Google. They will not go to the library to research. Gen Z, everything is through an app. They download an app and they do a course. Let's now go to part 2 of our discussion, how we behave with money. Of course, the 10 items I mentioned affects what we buy. So how we spend money, we are affected by our generations. There are 4 major reasons why we buy. The first reason why we buy whatever we buy is to solve a problem. There's a need. The second reason why we buy, it's logical to buy. It's something important. The third reason why we buy is recognition. It gives us fulfillment. And finally, the fourth reason we buy is emotional. We want to feel good. So I'm saying the first reason you buy a car is there is a need. There's a problem you want to solve. For example, you want a car to go to work. So you have a car because you want to go to work. That's a need. Number 2, it's logical. That's important. So you buy a car because you want to drop kids to school. It's something important. Or I need to drop someone to hospital. The third reason you can buy a car is recognition, to be seen. So you buy a car because you want to impress your peers. You want them to know, ulifika, you're doing okay. And the fourth reason why you buy is to feel I can afford a car. Maybe I came from a very humble background. My dad didn't have a car. I'm gonna buy a car. There's an emotional attachment between me and a car. Now, I want us to look at some behaviors, and these behaviors affect what we buy, how we deal with money matters, and business and life in general. And the first one is work. For the baby boomers, work was security. So if it was a school teacher, they taught in that school, that one school, until they retired. Most of them preferred working for the government because their concern was job security. Gen X is the one that went to companies, to the corporate world. Why? They were looking for stability. So Gen X would brag with what company do you work for. It's not whether you have a job, but do you work for Safaricom? Do you work for KCB? For Gen Y, when they're looking for a job, they look for freedom. They don't like anyone bossing over them. This is a generation that can resign instantly. So employers struggle with them because of one reason. They don't want to be micromanaged. They want to feel their own boss. They want to manage their own diary. Now, Gen Z, flexibility. They want to work online. They want to work on remote. They want to do 2, 3, 4 jobs. They don't want loyalty in one place. I want to be a YouTuber, but at the same time, I can work for KCB in the online department, and I am doing some forex on the side. I'm doing some gaming on the side. That's what they're looking for. Now let's go to another item. How do we like being recognized? For the baby boomers, it's literally the village. The baby boomers would call the whole village for your wedding, for your graduation, and it has nothing to do with you, with your success. It is your father's ego. Your mother wants to show off to the neighbors. So they get recognition and fulfillment. The baby boomers want the whole village to know, my daughter is doing well, my son is doing well. The Gen X, it's the family. The interest of the Gen X is to take care of their immediate family. If it's a single mom, can I take my child to school? Are they going to college? Can I provide to my family? Can I afford the mortgage for my house? A man gets very, very fulfilled that he can provide for his family. A woman gets very, very fulfilled that she can provide for her family. She's making a contribution. A single mom, a single dad, they get very fulfilled. They're providing to their children. When they're able to take their kids to go and play, to go for a holiday, they're not looking for anything else. The family is happy. Gen Y, friends and peers have to know what's going on. If they go to Mombasa, they have to post on Facebook. If they go to Zanzibar, if they meet Nameless, if they meet a celeb, everybody has to know. They feel very excited. Gen Z, they want the whole world to know. Anything that they do, they want friends in Europe, in America, in Canada, they want peers. And they don't fear connecting with guys all over the world. When it comes to our needs, for baby boomers, all they want is to be smart. They just want to be smart. The Gen X, they want to be sharp. For Gen Y, it's the fashion. They want to be in touch with the trend. What is the latest? For Gen Z, is the brand. Their concern is the brand name. Let's come to our physical, the body. For the baby boomers, all they want is to be healthy. For the Gen X, they want to be fit. They talk about toning the muscle, both men and women. When it comes to the Gen Y, the word is sexy. And this is not just girls, even the men. Let's go to Z. Everybody wants to be a celeb, celebrity status. They try to measure up with Beyonce. They try to measure up with Jay-Z. And remember, they get the definition of beauty from the media. Let's come to shopping. The baby boomers would go to the shop. Most of them, there was a kiosk next door. Gen X, supermarket guys. Everywhere, supermarkets mushroomed. Gen Y, shopping malls. Gen Z, online. Let's talk about food. The baby boomers, they eat at home. Gen X, they started going to restaurants, especially the working class. The Y, not just restaurants, fast food. They have no time. Time is money. And the Z, they don't even have time for the fast food. They start ordering online. When it comes to banking, baby boomers, nominal banking. Most of them would keep the money under the pillow. They go to the bank simply because they have to get their salary through the bank. The banking hall is where the Gen X was always spend their time. They are the people who made us to have long queues in the bank. The Gen Y went to the ATM, and the Z, they can transfer money online. When it comes to home, baby boomers who are building their homes. They believe in buy land and build a house. Gen X, you buy a house in a gated community. Gen Y has no money to do that. You just buy an apartment. The Z, they pool. Here the Gen Z, they will not buy even an apartment. They will rent a room. So they house pool, the same way people can pool. They find it very expensive to have a house. Now, these are the same financial decisions we make. The baby boomer will definitely look for money to build a house, of course. Every baby boomer listening to me, they have their own house as we speak. The Gen X, most of them have townhouses. Some of them have built, but most of them bought, and they are paying mortgage as we speak. The Gen Y, most of them will go for apartments. The Gen Z, of course, they don't have houses yet. They will own, but as we speak, they don't have. You can have an outlier, but definitely most of them don't have a house. Finally, I want us to look at how we invest and tell me whether this makes sense to you. When it comes to investment behaviors, the baby boomers, they'll invest even for 25 years. The Gen X, 5 years is enough for them. The Y will go for 1 year. The Z, they want their money today. If they are investing, tell them by evening they are going to get their money back. And that's why Gen Z is such a victim of fraudsters. My suggestion to Z, what they need is knowledge. Most of them lack knowledge about money. For the Gen Y, what you need is patience. And that's what Morgan Housel is trying to say. The compounding is the time value of money. The Gen X, they don't have a problem with 5 years or even up to 15 years. An education insurance policy for 5 years, 10 years, maximum 15 years. But baby boomers were able to invest and wait for their money even up to 25 years. They don't have a problem waiting for quarter of a century for their stocks to grow. And that's exactly how Morgan is explaining made Warren Buffett rich. Because the guy would buy stocks that would wait for 50 years. So what I suggest to X, what they need is consistency, and for baby boomers, enhance. The thing with baby boomers is this: they will not put a lot in the investments. The Gen X, they will invest today, 5 years later they have given up on investments.